All right, well, the last example, we talked about getting a standard equation into a general form, and I introduced completing the square as a way to prep you for getting these equations into standard form. So let's dig in. So we're going to be given equations like this. This is the kind of the main point of this whole lesson. So I'm going to have two videos for it, one with simpler ones and one with harder ones. So in this one, we have a standard equation form, x squared plus y squared plus 8x minus 10y minus 8 equals 0. And we want to be able to get it into standard form and identify the center and the radius. Well, we know that Desmos can graph these. So I can maybe get an idea. It's not going to pass for work, but we can see if we're on the right track here by typing that equation into Desmos. And it will not tell you the center or the radius, but you can maybe estimate them. So if I look at the center, looks like the center, if I estimate this point to be the center where my cursor is, 1, 2, 3, 4 units up will give me the edge. 4 units, oh, it's not quite there, is it? So, you know what? Let's count these in the actual numbers that they are. Hold on. It was counted by 2s. So if my center is here, then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 units up. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 units down. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 units to the right. And if I did this right, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 units to the left. It looks like that point where my cursor is the center. And the radius then would be 7. So that coordinate would be -4 and +5. So we can actually estimate that from the graph, provided that those numbers are whole numbers. If they're decimals, then it's going to be a little bit trickier. But regardless of if they're whole numbers or decimals, here's how you can get that information from the equation. What you do is you rearrange, step 1 is to rearrange the x's together. So we want to write x squared plus 8x. And we want to leave a little space there. So we're going to put a number that's going to complete the square for that. Let me make that bigger so you can see. So we'll put a blank following that 8x. And I'll put a line there so we know to go back and fill that in. We also want to put the y squareds together. So plus y squared minus 10y. And again, I'm going to put another blank following that. That's going to be another number that completes the square for that set. I have a -8. I want to get that out of the picture. So I'm actually going to add 8 to both sides. If it's already over there, leave it. If it's on this side, bring it over here and flip the sign. So we're going to say that's going to be equal to +8. So step 1 is simply to rearrange. Okay, get the x's together, leave a space. Get the y's together, leave a space. If the number at the end is before the equal sign, bring it to the right side, change its sign, and put it after the equal sign. So step 1, rearrange. Step 2 is to complete the square. Now, I can't just add a number without consequence. If I'm going to add a number here, it's going to have to be written on the other side. So since I have 2 blanks here, I am going to write plus a number plus another number. This number will be the same as that. This number will be the same as that. So whatever I add to these, I'm going to add over here. So let's do a little completing the square. Step 2 is to complete the square. Now remember the basic formula for completing the square is taking the number in the middle, that b term, dividing it by 2, and squaring it. 8 divided by 2 is 4. 4 squared is 16. So that number is going to get written there, as well as to the right of the equation. We do the same thing with the minus 10. Remember to wrap that guy in parentheses. So negative 10 divided by 2 is negative 5. 5 squared is 25. Negative 5 squared is also positive 25. Always positive. Put it over there on the right side too. Now you've balanced your equation out. So what you've added here gets added here. Now the next step is to rewrite it as a factor. So x squared plus 8x plus 16, that's going to be x plus 4, x plus 4. Just factor that out. You know, divide this number by 2, that's the number there, or the square root of 16 if you'd rather think of it that way. Same thing goes for here. Y squared minus 10y plus 25, that's going to be y minus 5, y minus 5. We want those to be the same factor because if you write it twice, that's the same thing as squaring it. So that's going to simplify to x plus 4 squared. This will be y minus 5 squared. And now we have it to look like it's in standard form. Over here, we have 8 plus 16 plus 25. Add those numbers together. So 8 plus 16 is 24. 24 plus 25 is going to be 49. And once you have the number to the right of the equation, you have your two sets of parentheses, no additional y's or x's hanging out or numbers on the left side. You have your equation in standard form. So to identify the center and the radius, switch the signs for the center. Center is going to be negative 4, positive 5. And the radius, well, that's going to be the square root of 49, which is 7. And I think that's what we established on the graph. The center was right here, negative 4, positive 5. The radius, count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 units in all directions. And that matches up. And so if we had put this in Desmos, we would get the same graph. All right, look over that, repeat it if you need to, and try this one on your own. All right, I'm going to get started on it. So we have x squared, and I want to put the minus 4x after the x squared. I'm going to throw some number after that. So that's going to complete the square there. Then I'm going to do y squared. And there's a plus 6y. I'll need to complete the square after that as well. Now, my 1 happens to be on the right side already. So it normally would say minus 1 here. You'd bring it over and be plus 1. Since it's already there, we don't move it. So that's going to say equals 1. But remember, since we're adding two numbers here, you're going to have to add them to the right side as well. So there's going to be two numbers we're going to throw on over here. That will be the numbers we complete the square with. So let's talk about this one first. To complete the square with a negative 4, divide the negative 4 by 2 and square it. So negative 4 divided by 2 is negative 2. Negative 2 squared is positive 4. That'll go there and there. Same thing with the 6. 6 divided by 2 is 3. 3 squared is 9. So we can do that just anywhere you have room. That's going to be there and there. So these will, again, always be positive numbers that you're throwing in there in addition to what's already there. From there, we want to factor. So we got to think about that negative 2. Remember, it's x minus 2 times x minus 2, or simply x minus 2 squared. Same thing with this one. What two factors give you y squared plus 6y plus 9? It's going to be y plus 3, which is y plus 3 squared. And these three numbers, 1 plus 4 is 5, 5 plus 9, 14. So there's your equation, which means your center will be 2, positive 2, and negative 3. And your radius is the square root of 14, which will be a decimal. So we're going to leave that as is. Feel free to check that graph if you'd like with this one and the original one, see if they match up. Thanks for watching. The next video will be a continuation of this.